Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Williard, and you're watching Animal Interactions Part 2, a part of the Ecology unit. So we have 3 more animal interactions that we're going to discuss. The first one of those is courtship. Courtship is another word for dating. You might hear, in the animal kingdom, organisms, they don't really date per se, like, go out to dates, but you still have to try to figure out how to win the other one over. You have to attract a mate. It may seem like in the animal kingdom they just go at it, but there's a process involved. You gotta woo the ladies. You gotta win them over. You can't just do them and be done. Even in other animals. So courtship are just behaviors to attract a mate. So think about things that you do. So girls, if you want to attract a mate, if you want to attract a guy, you're going to, be conscious about how you dress. You might put on makeup. You might get your hair done. You might want to make sure you say the right thing, spray a little perfume. Same thing for guys. You want to look nice, clean. You want to make sure that you can say the right things, spit that juice, whatever you want to call it. You're not just going to get every girl you want all the time. So an example of this is so many different things. There's dancing, there's singing, there's different coloration. And some organisms do a dance. So these are swans. They do a dance to kind of show everybody that they're together. Then you have, like peacocks with really colorful feathers. And same thing with cardinals, and typically it's the male that's brightly colored to attract the female. Females are usually not brightly colored. They have to blend in and camouflage, when they're incubating the eggs. So that's what courtship is. Next, we have territorial interactions or behavior. So this is similar to competition because you are going to be competing for a resource, but it's going to be for territory or for space. So it's behaviors to defend a resource, and that resource is usually space, where you live, your habitat, your territory. You want to protect that. You don't want just anybody coming into your house at any time. You're going to have locks on the doors, you're going to have a gun, you're going to have methods put into place so that if somebody comes on your turf, you can handle it from there. Animals are the same way. They don't want just any other lion coming up into their territory. They, males typically fight, but females will fight too. Okay, so here are some bears that are fighting potentially over territory or space. It's very common in lion prides, which is the groups that they live in, that a male lion will try to come into another pride and take over. Well, the original male of that pride is not going to go down without a fight. Space, all resources are limited. We already said that in the other video. So food is a resource that's limited, but water, but also space. There's only so much room on the earth for all the animals that live on it. And then the last animal interaction that we're going to talk about falls under the umbrella of communication, and specifically with pheromones. So insects, for example, release these chemicals that are kind of like smells to direct other members of their colony where to go to find food, for example. So communication and pheromones are ways to transmit messages. So the example we're going to look at is in ants. Okay, so ants will release pheromones so that the other ants in the colony, when they leave, they can find where that food is. It's not like they can talk like us. It's not like an ant happens to find a piece of a hamburger left over at a picnic, and he goes back to the ant colony and is like, hey, bro, come check this out. I found this really great food. We need to go over here. They don't talk like that. They don't talk at all. So they have these chemicals that they release so that when one ant leaves and finds food and comes back to the colony, when other ants leave, it's almost kind of like a smell. So they can smell, they can sense the other ant's pheromones, and they will follow that to the source of food. That's why, when you drop a piece of hamburger at a picnic, if we go with that example, you might see one ant there, and 30 minutes later you see tons of ants, because that ant left those pheromones, that trail behind, so all the other ants could find food. Ants and some other animals, especially insects, are very social, and they will work together to find food. Alright, so that concludes the animal interaction section for ecology. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you learned something new.